Well, it's an interesting story. I was a medical student in India where I did my medical school, and there was an exhibition of medical books. I was actually not planning to be a neurologist, but I bought a book by Frank Netter, which on neuroanatomy. It's a very well-known book, and I was fascinated by neuroanatomy. That's really what sparked my interest, and the fact that neurology is a specialty of the brain, and the brain really is what you are. And it's also a very mathematical specialty. Every area of the brain has a function, and you know if something happens to one area, you can kind of predict what kind of a deficit you're going to have. And if you go backwards, if someone has a particular deficit, you have a pretty good guess of where the lesion is going to be and where you're going to find the problem is. And that's really what sparked my interest in neurology, and I've never regretted it since. Well, I think one of the most rewarding things, which is quite unusual for other branches of medicine, is that you just have to have contact with the patient. Because unless you get a detailed history, you're not going to get a neurological diagnosis. It doesn't matter how much fancy technology you have. You may do all the MRIs in the world, but if you don't know where you want that MRI done, what part of the brain or the spine you want it focused on, you're not going to get good results. So we spend a lot of time with the patient. We take a very detailed history. We do a very detailed examination. Out of all the specialties, we probably spend the most time with the patient. And not only is that important in making a diagnosis and getting a history, it's also very important building a bond with the patient. And you figure out what the patient's personality, their problems, and so that's one of the things that I found is very different from most other branches of medicine. That in spite of all the technology, we can't make any shortcuts. If people do, they're not going to be good neurologists. You just have to spend that time with the patient. And then going back to the other part of it that's rewarding, which I've already mentioned, is that it's like it really is like mathematics. It's like taking if you have a murder mystery and you take a lot of clues and you eventually find the culprit, and that's exactly what you do in neurology. You notice that there's weakness on the right side of the body, then you know the lesion is on the left side of the brain. If it's come overnight, then it's a stroke. If it's come slowly over months, it's a brain tumor or a space-occupying lesion. And this is really the fascinating part about neurology. And the great thing is that it's easy, although sometimes students fear that it's difficult. It isn't. And these are some of the things that I really like about neurology. Well, the first thing you look, at least I'm a program director, so the first thing I try to gauge is the person willing to work hard. I don't want a person who's already a neurologist, because that's really not the aim. We are going to teach them to be a neurologist. But we want them to be good people. And most of all, they should be willing to work hard. And because people who are lazy or take shortcuts, they're not really going to become good neurologists. Because as I mentioned earlier, you need to spend time with the patients, and technology is not going to provide you the answers. You need to spend time on your own. So that's really important. But every candidate that you take should be a good human being. I need to know that they're going to have empathy for their patients. That's most important, because that's what we do. We take care of patients. We try to make them better. And if you can't understand their problems and take good care of them, not just treat them as a number, it's not worth it. And so I try to gauge that when we do interviews. Is this the kind of person that I would send my family member to? Will I be comfortable when this person is talking to me over the phone and I have no idea what's going on other than what they're telling me. Are they reliable? Reliability is important, hard work is important, your attitude towards sick people is important, and professionalism is important. I mean, would this person be professional in their behavior, in their interactions? These are some of the things that we look for. Well, honestly, I haven't ever looked back at any point and said, I wish I could have done that with my kids or with my family. I think I've mostly been able to do whatever I wanted to. So I can't say that I've ever regretted my choice of specialty because I didn't have enough time to spend with my kids or family. I think in any specialty, yes, obviously there are some specialties which are much busier. Time management is important. If you manage your time well, you really should be able to, well, I guess I should say that about the medical specialties. I'm not sure that I can say that because I don't have enough experience about the surgical specialties. But if you manage your time well, I think you should have enough time for your family and for your extracurricular activities. I mean, hobbies are important to keep you sane. So. Well, I had, mentioned that briefly earlier. I think the biggest challenge is to change perceptions of neurology. One of the perceptions is for medical students, or anyone who's planning to enter medical school. They regard neurosciences as some complicated, obscure subject that they're not going to be able to understand. Then nothing is further from the truth, really. Both neuroanatomy, neurophysiology can be very enjoyable, very easy to understand, and can be fascinating once you get the hang of it. And it's not often the student's fault because it is sometimes presented in a manner that makes it complicated. So it's very important that it be taught in the right way, in the right sequence, and which is what we're now, trying to do at UT. Introduce it early on and introduce it in the right format, so that students are not overwhelmed and don't find it too complicated and they enjoy it. That's one perception as a student. Then the other perception is, for a long time, there's been this perception of clinical neurology as a subject, which is very nice, very intricate, and neurologists come and give you this great localization, but then they can't do anything about the disease because neurology has been equated with degenerative diseases like Lou Gehrig's, for which there is no treatment right now, which is true, there is no treatment, but there's lots and lots of research going on. But over the last 20, 30 years, there's been so many advances in neurology where previously untreatable diseases are now very treatable. I can give you a couple of examples. Stroke, for instance. We had nothing for stroke still about 15, 20 years ago. Now there's all kinds of treatment for acute stroke where you can rescue the damaged brain and reduce the neurological deficit or make it go away altogether. There's many diseases of muscle and the neuromuscular junction, myasthenia gravis, for instance, which 20 years ago about a third of the patients used to die, a third used to stay very sick. Now 100% should live a normal life if you treat them right because we have such great treatments. There's conditions like Guillain-Barré syndrome for which we now have treatments and we can change the course of the disease. There are so many new drugs in epilepsy. Most patients can go through life without anyone knowing that they're epileptic and have absolutely no effect on their life otherwise. Parkinson's disease has been revolutionized by both medical and surgical treatment. And yet, I have to say that this perception remains as students go into clinical medicine. And until they come and work with us in neurology and see how much things have changed, they're not always aware of this. So one of the best things that's happened for us is that neurology has become a third-year rotation, which gives them, a chance to know neurology well. Because in the fourth year, sometimes they'd already decided what they were going to do and weren't always so interested. I think these are the two major challenges. And then of course there are diseases that are common, like Alzheimer's disease, and that I mentioned, diseases that are not common but are well known, like Lou Gehrig's disease, for which we don't have cures. Alzheimer's disease, there are medications that can make you better, but there are no cures, but there's plenty of research going on, and I'm sure something is going to, in the future, is going to show up. Well, all I can tell them is it's a wonderful subject, that if you like neurosciences and if you like neurology, uh, y- if you have a liking for neurosciences and you have a bent for neurology, by all means go for it. I will tell you this, if you like it, you'll do it well. If you don't like it, you can't take it as, oh, maybe I'll do neurology if I don't get anything else. It's not going to work that way. You really have to have a fondness for it and a liking for it. Then you're going to do very well. It's for all the reasons that I mentioned. It's a wonderful branch. Most of all, like I said, you learn about the brain. The brain is what you are, and what human beings are. And so, I find it very satisfying for that reason. And then you do. It's not you're not going to be super busy. You have time for yourself. You have time for your family, and you make a good living.